No expectation, no disappointments, right? Ooh, I have a bit of a problem when people say that because if we don't have any expectations, then we're not promoting our standards to people. We're not promoting our worth and our value to the people who are around us. Oh, I don't have any expectations of you, so you can't disappoint me. The problem and the mistake that people tend to make is they mix up the difference between expectation and dependency. So I could say to my spouse or my partner or my girlfriend, my expectation is that if I tell you something, then you believe me. That's a pretty reasonable expectation. If I don't have that expectation, then how can they build the trust in the relationship? However, if I'm dependent on them believing everything I say, for the sense of my own self worth, if someone pushes back and says, well, I'm not sure if that's true, I'm going to feel my self abandonment wound. I'm going to move my boundary and say, oh, hold on now, I need to defend myself. I need to convince you that I'm telling the truth here. A person who doesn't have dependency on another person's affirmations or validation will just say, well, my expectation is that you believe me, but if you don't, you're welcome to leave. You know where the door is. No self abandonment, but expectations are still in place. It's very important we maintain expectations in all relationships. We just have to understand that if we're dependent on another person's showing up and acknowledging, validating, just to make us feel as if we're worthy, then there's the problem. Now, if you are struggling with that yourself and you tend to chase after people and say, hey, come back here. I need you to validate me. I need you to remind me of my worth. Then there's a reason for that. Nothing comes from nothing. That insecurity is born of self-abandonment. This is inherent to the anxious preoccupied. Whereas a child, we've had to give away parts of who we are to get someone to show up for us as a means of survival. So it doesn't feel safe when someone says to you, I don't believe you, or they're pushing a boundary that you've put in place, an expectation. And that's where we get expectation and dependency mixed up as anxiouses. When you want to acknowledge that version of yourself from the past and say, you know what, you shouldn't have had to give yourself away. You shouldn't have had to reduce who you are to meet someone else's need as a child. Your job as a kid is to be a kid, not to be a parent to the parent. So to acknowledge that version of yourself from the past means to heal. When you're ready to engage with those silenced voices from your past, reach out, because I lead people through this process. There's a lot more to it than just telling the story of the child from your perspective. So if you want to know the keys and the tools to reintegrate your inner child, to become self-assured, self-confident, and self-reliant so that you're not self-abandoning when someone says to you, hey, I don't believe you, and you remove your dependency from someone else's validation and acknowledgement because you've provided it for yourself already.